dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream. Then spake the Chaldeans to the king in Syriac, that was the language they were speaking there in the king's court, O king, live forever, tell thy servants the dream, and we will show the interpretation. But King Nebuchadnezzar retorts to the wise men, James, and he says, listen, here's the matter. I have dreamed a dream that I can't remember. And as a matter of fact, it's convenient because this could prove a test for your wisdom. You claim to be wise men. Not only do I want the interpretation, but I want you to tell me what I dreamed. And when you tell me what I dreamed, then I'll know for sure that the interpretation is accurate and true. But the wise men couldn't answer that kind of request.
Yeah, it's obvious here, Ty, that the king is wanting to get his money's worth out of these men. He's been paying them a lot of money. They've been on the payroll. And basically what he's saying is, look, man, I've dreamed this dream and I can't remember it. Now, I pay you to figure out these kind of things. And I haven't really had a reason to test the genuineness of your occupation. But now, here's a test. This must be from the gods, because of course Nebuchadnezzar doesn't know anything about the God of gods. This must be from the gods. This is a test. This is a way to test whether or not you're genuine.
That's right.
I want you guys to figure out this dream. And so as the wise men respond, in a negative sense, the king, in verse 5, answers and said to the Chaldeans, the thing is gone from me. The thing is gone from me. Don't ridicule me. Don't ask me to share with you the dream so you can give me the interpretation. Just give me the whole thing, because the thing is gone from me. And if you will not make known unto me the dream with the interpretation thereof, then you shall be cut in pieces and your houses shall be made a dunghill. Now, this seems rather severe, but we've got to remember that this king is an unbeliever. This king is not in a position to be political, to be...
And he's not in the habit of exercising compassion either.
Right.
As far as he's concerned, these wise men's lives are dispensable. He doesn't need these guys, except for the purpose of fulfilling their high claim to be wise men. And so he says, this is what I want from you, the dream and the interpretation.
And what's going to take place? What is going to happen with these wise men? And what is going to take place with the dream? Is it going to be something that's going to come, or is it going to be something that's going to be lost? Stay with us, and we'll be right back to find out.
Have you been enjoying these programs? I sure have. Have you noticed that James and Ty can pack a lot of words into 30 minutes? There's just not enough time for them to share with you everything they'd like to. But don't despair. James and Ty have prepared some study outlines for you to read at your own pace. They want to be sure that you send in for your free copy of the study outlines. In these outlines, called The Unsealing of Daniel, you will not only find a review of what they've covered, but added thoughts and insights that will help you as you seek to understand this prophetic book. And did you catch the price? These study guides are absolutely free. I know Ty and James would enjoy hearing from you. Give them your comments or questions. Let them know if these programs are a blessing to you. You can reach them at 1-877-585-1111 or write P.O. Box 1888, Malo, M-A-L-O, Washington 99150, or email them at lbm@televar.com.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us as we continue our study through Daniel chapter 2. We want to encourage you to take advantage of the free study guides that have been offered. Take advantage of that phone number that's toll-free there, and write to us if you'd rather do it that way, and obtain those free study guides so that you can go through the book of Daniel, study it for yourself in greater detail. Now, where were we, James? We're in the book of Daniel, chapter 2. We're looking at this incredible story of King Nebuchadnezzar receiving this dream that's gone from him. The wise men cannot interpret the dream. They can't give the king the dream itself. And he's pretty upset. He says their houses are going to be made a heap of rubble if they can't come through.
Absolutely. And he comes up with another plan, Ty. He comes up with another idea. He knows he's paying these wise men, and he knows that they should give him the interpretation. But he's thinking, in his mind, he's thinking that perhaps they need a little bit more incentive. So he's willing to throw that out. He knows that they don't deserve it. He knows that they've been paid. He knows that they need to come up with the interpretation. But he is desperate. He feels impressed. He believes that what he dreamed the night before that he can't remember was so important that he must understand it. And so what he does in verse 6 is he says, if you show the dream and the interpretation thereof, ye shall receive of me gifts and rewards and great honor. Therefore, show me the dream and the interpretation thereof. So now he's going to encourage them by, well, he's going to try and give them some more incentive. This is not something that we find responding in their hearts, because, you know, you can't buy the Holy Spirit with gifts. Simon, in the New Testament, the magician, Simon the magician tried to buy the gift of the Holy Spirit with money. And this dream is from God. It's from His Holy Spirit. And Nebuchadnezzar cannot buy the interpretation or the understanding or the remembrance of this dream with money, especially through his wise men, because they're not followers of God.
And that's how it is with a dream that's given by God. You just sense that it must be vitally important. This isn't your run-of-the-mill dream. We've all had dreams, and some are more interesting than others. My favorite dream that I ever had, James, favorite dream, is when I rode right out of the ocean. I was swimming in the ocean in my dream. I rode out of the ocean on the back of a dolphin, right into society, into my daily life, to home, to church, to work. Everywhere I was on this dolphin, and didn't mean a thing. Didn't mean a thing,
That's quite
James.
a dream.
But this dream that Nebuchadnezzar is given is significant. When I woke up from my dream, I knew this dream meant nothing.
You never told me about that dream.
I never told you about that dream. But I did have that dream.
And I don't blame you.
Nebuchadnezzar's dream is significant, and he knows it's significant. It's not just because he ate before he went to bed and his mind is playing tricks on him. He is dead serious about this matter. He wants to know the dream and the interpretation. And the wise men respond in verse 11 and say, it is a rare thing that the king requires, and there is no one who can show this thing to the king. There is no one.
Now, this is a key, Ty. This is very important. This is very significant. This is what God has wanted. This is what God is looking for. He's looking for an opportunity to reveal to Nebuchadnezzar the absolute lack of understanding that the wise men really have. He's looking for this line. He was looking for this line. He was looking for the wise men to say, now listen, there is nobody. There's nobody in heaven and earth or under the earth. There's no wise men. There's no wisdom in all of creation that can give the king the interpretation and the dream, that can show him the matter.
And he's going to get that message loud and clear as the story continues, because, as we said, one of the wise men in Babylon at this time is a faithful follower of Jehovah, the true God of heaven, and that's Daniel. Daniel is sought out as the story continues. He is to be executed along with all the other wise men. And so as they seek him out, Daniel tells the captain of the king's guard, Arioch, listen, Arioch, give us some time, and I want to present myself before the king. Daniel believes that God can actually give him both the dream and the interpretation. Is this some kind of presumption on Daniel's part? How could he possibly know that God is going to come through for him in this way?
Well, the stage has been set. The wise men have admitted that there's no one on earth that can understand this, only the gods whose dwelling is not with man. So the stage has been set. The king is furious. He's put forth the decree, all the wise men are to be executed. Why am I paying them anyway? If they can't take care of this dilemma, no reason for them to be on my... It's kind of like some of the presidents of different countries today. They just fire their whole cabinet, they get rid of all those worthless men, and they put in a whole new cabinet. We see that happening over and over again in Russia and other places. Well, this is basically what Nebuchadnezzar does. But he set the stage because he sees now, he's come face to face with the bankruptcy, the complete bankruptcy of all of his men. And as Daniel comes in and Daniel says, King, give me time. Now notice, the king was not willing to give the wise men any time. In fact, he says in the context here, he says, I know in verse 9 that you have prepared lying and corrupt words to speak before me till the time be changed. You're buying time. You're buying time. And I'm not going to give you that time. But as Daniel walks in, Nebuchadnezzar notices something.